Alright, so today we are shooting a bunch of stuff today for the bank that I do work for. So at first we have 13 headshots to do in the morning, ranging out between like an hour or so, a few hours. And then after that we have a lunch break, come back here, set up for interviews, interviewing the CEO and then I believe 3 employees. So it's going to be an action-packed day, and figured I'd take you guys along, show you kind of what it consists of. So I've got my flash, cheap little thing, but it works. And then I have both rags, 5-in-1. So for most of the interviews that I do for the bank and in general, I usually bring this parabolic softbox. It's pretty easy to set up and doesn't take up too much space. Although it is not the best quality in the world, it is falling apart as some of the poles that hold it together do come out of the inserts. But honestly, for what it is and what I use it for, it works great. So right now I'm setting up for the first headshot. And I usually have a white backdrop paper that I had a few years ago, but I ran out of it as I used it for some studio stuff. But I'm just going to use their gray wall and Photoshop it and make it look a little bit better in post. But as you can see, I took the 8 crate off, and that's because I found that the 8 crate was narrowing the beam of the light a little bit too much for my preference for the photos. So taking that off really helped open the light up and spread it across their face, and especially the background, as I don't have another strobe. So maximizing the output on my newer 400 watt strobe is honestly what I had to do. And I'm actually using my hand here to get a few reference images to see if the exposure is right, so that when the first person comes, I'm not just testing a bunch of photos, trying to see if I could get it right. So, just trying to save time in the long run. And obviously looking a little bit weird here, but you know what? It gets the job done, and why not? I've never been good at telling people how to pose. And as you can see here, I kind of give them some bland instructions. And this first pose was not the best. It kind of was a little awkward for me, and it looked a little awkward for the photo. So I had him cross his arms, and it looked a lot better on camera. And they were happy with how it turned out as well. So it's never a bad idea. So one thing I want to do is put a tape mark down pretty much here, so they know where to face, and the head goes this way. So bam, like that. And, that's good. The one thing I always try doing with these like corporate headshots is like getting as much fill as possible. I mean, granted, I can like edit in Photoshop and stuff like that, make it look a little bit brighter, but getting it done in camera first is much more important. So that's why I had this reflector here with the white soft side on there. It literally like right off of the frame, because I want as much bounce as possible. Obviously, I have a lot of spill into the room, but I'm shooting at like 5.6 to make sure everything's sharp. And then obviously ISO as low as possible, 250 shutter. So I'll show you guys kind of what that shot looked like. So there we go. So like very tack sharp. That's why I love this A7 IV. And this is actually the new one I bought, which I will say when I bought it, the thing's kind of messed up right here, but it still works. So I'm setting up my boom mic right now, and I'm using the Sonal MC24-EL right there. I got this like 4 years ago probably, before I even used it that much. But I've been using it for these interviews ever since I started here, and it works. It's a little noisy when you try to up the gain, stuff like that, but honestly, if you get close enough, it sounds great in my opinion. Although I think upgrading in the near future would be probably beneficial. Something to like the Sennheiser MKH or NKE 416, something like that. It's a little bit higher quality. But if you guys have any recommendations, comment down below, because I'm open to whatever you guys have used and recommend. So Right now we're just waiting on a few more people to show up for interviews. And I think we're ahead of schedule anyway, so yeah. So this newer stand that I have here is awesome. You know, I don't get excited about much, but when it makes my life a little bit easier and actually makes like the set more clean and professional looking, then I'm all for it. Because now the whole boom mic just screws it into this 3/8 thread on this baby pin adapter. And obviously this whole thing extends out another, okay, all the way over there. And that should be enough reach to get me where I need to go. With a sandbag, obviously, because that's just gonna fall over if it doesn't, but yeah, this is perfect. So I was messing around with this thing and hooked up the magic onto this with my Zoom F3. It's actually a pretty solid little setup, and it still allows me to plug in USB-C to here, plug it into my V-mount to charge it because this thing sucks on battery. And obviously XLR inputs here and here for the boom mic that's over there. But this is actually not too bad of a setup. I do have a smaller magic arm as well that I'm probably going to use for this. But for now, this actually worked really good. And it gives me a little place to store my headphones. But okay, so with this being my main camera, I've always had that with the 35 to 150. But I don't really need that reach with the main camera. I usually have that a little bit wider, like 35 millimeter to 50 millimeter. And then the side angle, the B cam, should be a little bit tighter on them, so I just swapped the lenses. So the B cam, which is a little bit stripped down, has the zoom lens, so that should work out a little bit better. I'm gonna see. I love how sharp this lens is at 2.8, but I guess we'll see if it makes any difference. But I'm just setting up this for now, but we're going on a little lunch break for an hour, so I just wanted to get this stuff set up beforehand. But the 300C shooting through softbox through a 6x6 half grid, just to have another layer of diffusion on there. That's going to be the fill light, or bounce or whatever. And then we got the cool new stand. Gonna test this out. Hopefully that works pretty well. We'll see. And then I don't even know if I'm even gonna need these. Besides, actually I will. That's gonna hold that because I need to have a stand to boom over my tube light for the hair light. So yeah, that'll be that. I was actually gonna buy 2 of these stands. I had 2 of them there, but I didn't really need to go pay $90 for 2 stands when I really only needed 1. So yeah, but now I kind of regret it. This is what we're working with for the interview. I did have the dome on it, but the 300C is not powerful enough with the 2 layers of diffusion plus shooting through a half grid to like kind of match that. But so we're just shooting straight through it, which is fine. It's a half stop anyways, but yeah, that's what it's looking like. B cam, you can't really see that, but I'm trying to set up the pixel tube right now. Get a power run to that because I don't want to power it off battery for like the next hour or so. So gonna plug that into probably that one, and then move that tape marker right here, and we're looking pretty good. I love this thing. I do wish I had another riser though to get it up even higher. I might try to make something for it though. So I was setting up the tube light here, and honestly the tube light was probably one of my most favorite purchases I've done in the last year. It's a small improvement to my lighting setup, but honestly having something so small yet kind of powerful honestly saves the day. So right now I'm using the monitor and control app, and this was my first time using it for these interviews, and it was a game changer. Just being able to see what the B camera was seeing, making sure everything was in focus and exposed properly was a huge benefit and made the whole day much smoother and relieved a lot of stress that I had. And you are also able to tap to focus, which I did not know until I tried it, and that was also awesome. If you guys have any recommendations on what I could do to make my setup more streamlined and smaller and easier to pack down, definitely let me know down in the comments below. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and stay tuned for some more behind the scenes content, as I have a few commercial projects coming up and I am definitely going to be doing some behind the scenes for it. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed, give a like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.